part of the United States. Let's go to Mary. Mary's calling from Houston. Mary, I understand you're a physician. Thanks for checking in with us. Go right ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. And I got to tell you, man, you got to get off the left coast and come to Texas because life is pretty good here.
And you know something, Mary? I know that. I have a son who went to school in Texas, did his college in Texas, and I visited on many an occasion, had a couple chances to speak out that way, and I love Texas. It's a whole nother country.
It's a whole state of mind. Well, thank you again for taking my call. And I'll tell you, Rachel really, really hit the nail on the head. I'm a cancer doctor, and I've been one for 20 years. And our profession is squarely in the crosshairs of Obamacare, all right? Because what we do is expensive, and many of our patients don't survive their cancers, and our goal is quality of life and improving, symptoms and trying to prolong life. And when you start talking about those independent health advisory boards, there's a lot of patients that are going to be told, sorry, it's going to cost too much to keep you alive. I'm telling you that is coming. Now, the other thing I just wanted to say is that while I'm having a fair amount of enjoyment watching this Schadenfreude, I guess the word is, watching this Obamacare, I call it Obamacide, like, rodenticide, because it's going to kill people.
Yeah, well, sadly,
I got to tell you, the amount of pain and misery, uncertainty I see among my patients, I almost can't come to work every day because some of these people have been in my practice for a decade, and they're still fighting for their lives, and they don't know what's going to happen January 1st.
And, Doctor, I'm reading a story from the Financial Times from this morning. It's talking about some of the great cancer hospitals across the country in New York and Texas and California. In fact, one is the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston.
That's my alma mater.
Well, there you go. They talked about not offering patients, these Obamacare patients, access to those hospitals because I guess the reimbursement rates are so ridiculously low, et cetera, that financially it makes absolutely no sense. Well, and you can see what's going to happen. Now the hospitals are going to be demonized, and the insurance carriers are going to be demonized, et cetera.
And the providers are going to be demonized.
Yes.
But it's not just a reimbursement issue, because we don't even know what that is. We haven't even seen a rate schedule to even know if this makes sense for us. We haven't even seen the rules of the plan. Some of these insurance plans have these God clauses in them that say, oh, if the patient misses an office visit, and they come to grief, then we're not paying for any of those charges. Some of these plans have carve-outs where they don't cover specific drugs or treatments. And without knowing what those are, it makes you impossible to know if you can do a plan.
Okay, so Doctor, we're 3.5 years into the planning here, and they haven't provided you guys with this information?
No. Furthermore, they haven't even written the software for the payment piece. And if your premiums are not paid, your policy is not enforced. So you may be enrolled and have a shiny little card, but the premium hasn't been paid, the policy isn't enforced. So the provider, which may not be able to get that information, because it sounds weird, but the insurance company may not know it either, you may provide the care, and then the insurance company comes back and says, oh, by the way, the policy wasn't enforced, we want all the money back.
Now, Doctor, I'm curious, you must have many colleagues, fine doctors, I'm sure, who voted for President Obama for whatever reason, who are certainly having serious buyer's remorse at this point in time.
Well, I'll tell you, when all this went down in 2010, I actually read the bill. It took me a year because it's not written in any known language.
It's true. That's true. You're right.
And I kept telling people, look at these perverse incentives. And they're like, oh, but everybody will have insurance. I said, but they won't. Or if they have insurance, it won't be enough to cover what they need. And it is one of the biggest hoaxes perpetuated on the American public. And it's so cruel. I just can't tell you. I mean, I didn't go into medicine to get rich, okay? It's been a good living. But I didn't go into medicine and train for 10 years after college to go broke. And that's what we're going to do. Because some of these cancer drugs are $10,000 to $15,000 a treatment. So Doctor, this is why we're, as providers,